Committee meeting that concluded its business on the 4th of August, having started on the 1st of August. The Secretary General will speak to some of the major decisions taken by the National Executive Committee. Without any waste of time, I am going to invite the SG to give a reflection. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Comrade Mahlengi. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, the ANC convened its National Executive Committee ordinary meeting from the 1st to the 4th of August 2025, meeting under the guiding banner of the 70th anniversary of the Freedom Charter. This historic gathering took place in a period of profound reflection and decisive action as we continue to implement the resolutions of the 55th National Conference to advance the commitments of our 2024 manifesto and sharpen our movement's posture in delivering the January 8th tasks. The National Executive Committee met during Women's Month, marking the 69th anniversary of the heroic 1956 Women's March and the 30th anniversary of the National Day, signifying the advances we have made in women emancipation and transformation. The ANC reaffirms its unflinching commitment to addressing the triple oppression of women in terms of race, class, and gender. We celebrate this month focusing on women leadership and economic participation under this year's theme, building resilient economies for all. This moment is not only a commemoration of historic victories, but a clarion call to confront persisting gender inequalities, including the scourge of gender-based violence and femicide. The National Executive Committee reflected on several developments characterizing the political terrain since our last meeting, including the emerging dynamics of the Government of National Unity, public opinion trends, the national dialogue preparations, the critical challenge of unemployment, the high cost of living, infrastructure challenges, and international trade tensions, particularly the unilateral punitive tariffs imposed by the United States. The National Executive Committee noted with appreciation the report of the Liberation Movement's Summit and reaffirmed the ANC's commitment to building a better Africa and a better world. The shifting geopolitical landscape requires that South Africa asserts its sovereignty, defend multilateralism, and pursue partnerships that advance inclusive development. The ANC rejects with contempt attempts by domestic reactionaries and foreign forces to destabilize our nation through misinformation and economic coercion. The National Executive Committee welcomes and fully supports the decisive interventions announced by Ministers of International Relations and Trade Cooperation and Industry and Competition in response to the imposition of punitive tariffs by the United States. These measures reflect a coherent and strategic approach to defending South Africa's economic sovereignty while prioritizing the livelihoods of our people. The comprehensive support framework, including the establishment of an export support desk and mobilization of targeted industrial resilience funds demonstrates a government that is proactive in shielding its productive sectors from external economic shocks. These actions are not isolated measures, but form part of a broader national effort to restructure our trade relations, promote industrialization, and ensure that South Africa's engagement in the global economy is anchored in equity, dignity, and national development priorities. The NEC is particularly resolute that South Africa will not be coerced into reversing its progressive economic transformation agenda or compromising its sovereignty under the guise of opportunistic foreign pressures. The Democratic Alliance reaction to the minister's announcement exposes a mindset that is out of touch with the aspirations of South African people. Their reckless calls for deregulation and abandonment of broad-based black economic empowerment are a direct affront to the principles of the Freedom Charter, which demand that the people shall share in the country's wealth. The DA's posture reflects a deeply entrenched neo-imperialist mindset that seeks to subordinate South Africa's sovereign right to chart its own economic destiny to the interests of foreign powers and domestic elites. The ANC will not retreat from defending the economic freedom of our people. Our government's principled and deliberate approach remains firmly rooted in the struggle traditions that guided us to liberation and continue to guide us in building a sovereign, inclusive, and just South Africa. The NEC acknowledges the resilience of our economy despite the global headwinds and domestic pressures. The work of stabilizing Eskom with the energy availability factor now at 70% is a milestone that speaks to the ANC's determination to ending load reduction and ultimately load reduction and ensure energy security for all South Africans. We are seeing tangible results of the Energy Action Plan, which must now be replicated in other strategic sectors such as water, logistics, and public infrastructure. Preparations for the national dialogue are proceeding in earnest. The National Convention will sit on the backdrop of the 70th anniversary of the Freedom Charter, which was the precursor of dialogue and in line with our traditions, even during the transition to democracy in the early 90s dialogues. We had with all sections of our society, which led to our democratic dispensation and the adoption of our progressive constitution. The national dialogue will be held from the 15th to 17th of August 2025, setting the agenda for a nationwide conversation on the future of South Africa. This dialogue will not displace constitutional processes, but will build a new social compact to address poverty, inequality, and unemployment. It will be a citizen-led, inclusive, and transformative, giving the people of South Africa an opportunity to set a new direction for our future. The ANC welcomed the convening of the national dialogue. The NEC welcomed a comprehensive report on the Government of National Unity, assessing the performance of the GNU since its establishment and immediately after the 2024 elections. The National Executive Committee identified significant progress in the GNU's work over the past 12 months. Within Parliament, the ANC has adapted to the complexity of operating in a political landscape where it no longer holds a majority. The NEC reminds our structures that the GNU is not a permanent structure but a tactical necessity to safeguard South Africa's progressive agenda amidst a fractured electoral mandate. The GNU is an instrument for nation building, governance, inclusive development, and championing the ANC's transformation agenda. It was crafted to ensure stability in government, advance service delivery to our people, and drive transformation with the ANC's strategic leadership at its core. The NEC resolved to reset the GNU and mandated the officials to engage with current GNU partners to broaden participation, strengthen the functioning of the GNU, and give full effect to the statement of intent. Our movement will not be short-sighted nor allow opportunistic forces to manipulate this platform for narrow partisan ends. The ANC remains clear that the GNU is a bridge towards the national democratic society we seek to build, and is not an end in itself. The NEC noted that ANC membership stands at 1,147,9,257. It's 1.5 million.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now it makes sense.
Okay. And then in good standing, reflecting a 19.5% increase since June 2025. This is a clear testament to the people's and enduring faith in their movement. All branches must ensure compliance with functionality criteria and the completion of the foundation course by November 2025. The NEC further directed that branch general meetings be quality assured, attendance verified, and that the regional executive committees adopt performance-based KPIs, as branches must be program-based and sites of activism where our people can be serviced by our structures. This is a period of renewal and rebuilding. Every member must undergo political education to ensure we build an advanced cadre that is able to meet the demands of this current epoch and its challenges, including aligning personal conduct with revolutionary ethos of the ANC. The NEC commended the work of the NEC Subcommittee on Political Education. To date, we trained 108 members, have completed various modules of the foundation course, and the work still continues. This is a pillar of our organizational renewal. Every cadre must embody revolutionary morality, service, and humility. Regional conferences remain on track, and this year we expect 45 out of our 52 regions to hold conferences by December 2025, which is a cut-off date as we focus on the local government elections. It is mandatory that all comrades attending regional conferences must have attended and completed the foundation course. No conference will proceed without thorough verification, and the mandatory 3-day cooling-off period must be observed. The SGO will capacitate the National Dispute Resolutions Committee and the National Dispute Resolutions Committee of Appeals to manage appeals efficiently in the ongoing processes from various provinces. It will ensure that the timelines are tightened in line with the conference guidelines. In KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng, the provincial task teams have recorded significant progress in rebuilding structures and restoring organizational coherence. The NEC noted this progress with satisfaction. The Western Cape, however, demands a reconfiguration of its structures, which will be executed in strict adherence to the ANC Constitution. National subcommittees will descend to the province to reinforce with political education, organizational discipline, and strategic capacity. The National Working Committee was mandated to process this decision of reconfiguring the Western Cape province. Local government remains at the epicenter of service delivery challenges. The National Executive Committee have resolved that it will convene an NEC meeting over a period of 2 days to focus on the work of local government and the interventions that should be made by the ANC in bringing services to the people. The National General Council will take place from the 8th to the 12th of December, and it will be attended by 1,600 delegates. We finalized the theme of the General Council. We also finalized the strategic framework for the National General Council, which will be held in December this year at Nazareth Expo Center. On the SACP, the NEC engaged in a frank and principled discussion on the decision of the South African Communist Party to contest local government elections independently of the ANC. As a revolutionary movement, we recognize the SACP's right as an independent organization to chart its own electoral path. However, as a movement that has shared trenches with the SACP in the struggle for freedom, we have communicated our profound disagreement with this decision. It is our considered view that this move carries far-reaching implications for the strategy and program of the National Democratic Revolution. The National Executive Committee recalled many moments in history in which the SACP's vanguard role was very critical in the struggle. Successive generations of party leaders have always affirmed that the route to socialism will traverse and be approached through the National Democratic Revolution led by the National Liberation Movement. Our shared victories against apartheid, our collective resistance to neoliberal exploitation, and our vision of a just society cannot be surrendered to fleeting tactical divergences. The ANC will act with maturity and fortitude, engaging our allies with humility but also with clarity. Unity is the weapon of the oppressed, and the disunity is a luxury we cannot afford. However, we might have reached a stage where we are unable to persuade the South African Communist Party from its decision of not contesting the elections. And we believe as the ANC that will weaken the National Democratic Revolution. It is important that, if possible, the Communist Party must understand the implications of this particular decision. On the Integrity Commission, the NEC considered the report of the Integrity Committee, and the issues have been referred to the national officials for further processing. We noted the decisions of the Disciplinary Committee, which involved several comrades, and that some of the decisions include a pending matter before the NDC of Comrade Obed Bapela, and that the appeal that he had lodged has been dismissed by the National Disciplinary Committee, and his disciplinary processes are still continuing. We noted that there will be a reburial program, and that as we met by the NEC a number of our comrades had passed on, and we passed condolences on the comrades who passed away. We agreed that the January 8th rally will be hosted in the Northwest Province, reaffirming our principle of rotational celebrations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, SG. May I then open it up for questions? I'm going to start to my left. News 24, followed by Power FM. And then I'll move this way in order to ensure that there's balance.
My name is Mbalula. My name is Santana Tapa from News 24. In terms of extending or broadening the GNU, can you clarity on what exactly this looks like? Will we see the ANC take from its own portfolio positions in the GNU, or are other parties going to be affected to accommodate new parties in the pact? And then, how do you plan to navigate what the implications of this in terms of your relationship with the Democratic Alliance? You've just said some very strong things right now. How are you going to navigate that? With regards to local government interventions, did the ANC consider calls coming from the Eastern Cape for early conference day? Thank you.
Howard?
Good day, Kosnati Shazi from Power FM. My question is on the resolutions on the SACP. So you mentioned that the ANC is unable to persuade the SACP in contesting the upcoming local government elections, and you say that there will be implications. So what will those implications be? Of course, there are a number of SACP members who do have cabinet positions, ministers, deputy ministers. Are those implications them being removed from power? Thank you very much.
Thank you. That is succinct. May I ask that we elevate our voices so that we are able to catch the question? Thank you. I'm going to go this way. I'll start right there at the back. And then, can I just see the hands at the back? Okay, start there, right at the back. You can go ahead, my brother, followed by the next hand just below you. Please proceed.
Good afternoon. My name is Zolega.
Please raise your voice. We need to hear you.
My name is Zolega from News from Africa. I have a couple of questions. One of them, just going to piggyback on the question from my colleague from News 24 regarding what it means when the ANC says that it's going to be looking at other political parties. What is the relationship at the moment with the ANC and the MK party and the EFF as well, and whether these parties will also be engaged, and whether this also means that the ANC is severing ties with the DA and the Government of National Unity. I also want to ask, whether there were any discussions from the ANC NEC meeting on the Deputy President as well as Simelane to step aside, and what the resolution was in relation to that, and on the other issue, whether there has been a settlement with Israeli that bill that the ANC had previously failed to pay. Thank you.
May I proceed? The next person.
Sanwana, my name is Fikile Mbalula with Bloomberg News. On the statement of intent as it currently stands, what is the prerequisite for expanding the GNU? So is it consultation with the current members? Do you vote on it? How does that expansion take place? And are there any plans to revisit the statement of intent now that it's been a year to maybe formalize some of the processes? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Can I see, my apologies for not recognizing media colleagues who are at the back. It's a bit dark. If I don't name you by your media houses. I'm going to come down to SABC.
Fikile Mbalula from the SABC. Mr. Mbalula, on the SACP, are you essentially saying that you are now throwing in the towel and will no longer be meeting your counterparts, Fikile Mbalula, and the other officials of the party and the ANC in the bilateral, saying it will effectively now fail to convince the party not to be on the ballot paper next year in the local government elections. On the government of national unity, there seems to be this courting between yourselves and your erstwhile best friend, Juju. What is the relationship when it comes to those particular engagements? Because there were members, there were some within the NEC who were pushing that a letter must be sent out to other political formations. Those who voted with you in the passing of the botched second budget by Minister of Finance, Ido Kotlowane, and reaching out to your traditional ally, not traditional ally rather, a party that you are seemingly have the same core values as said by the President of Botswana, who said that the ANC and the EFF must have a discussion when he was speaking recently at a Congress in Botswana. I'm sure you are aware of that particular engagement where Andile Ngisa was present on behalf of your party. On the DA and also on governance, we saw a video this morning of the IDT CEO allegedly bribing journalists and the shenanigans that have been going on in the IDT, knowing that the minister, the old deputy minister, is also embroiled with the battle with Minister Dean McPherson. What is the ANC's posture on the governance that is taking place in the IDT and the mismanagement that is seemingly there? Thank you.
Thank you very much. SG, may I proceed? Okay. My colleague next to Samkele. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. Lisa Gatandra from Times Live. Just a couple of questions from me. You say that South Africa will not be coerced into reversing its transformation agenda or compromise its sovereignty. I wonder what informs this. Why do you say this? What leads to this posture by the ANC? Is it a matter of the bilaterals that you had with the United States, which leads you to make this kind of statement? You also spoke, and I think the President as well spoke of your commitment to the GNU. You now say that it's a tactical necessity and it's not a permanent structure. I wonder, Mbala, what has your research told you about your standing in the GNU? The DA has had its research where it's informed it that, in fact, its constituency as well as the electorate are quite happy with the DA in the GNU. But what has your research told you? You speak of the national dialogue. I want to perhaps ask, because there's been a lot of talk about the NDP government failing to implement the NDP. We're running out of time as government. Well, government is running out of time. Vision 2030 is just around the corner. The national dialogue, will it be an extension of that? And can you just clarify how the national dialogue takes forward the national development plan? And my last question is on what you say, sorry about that, my last question is on what you say when you say the SACP must consider the implications. Are you now referring, because a lot of people have been talking about the ANC possibly invoking Rule 25.17.4 of its constitution. Is this something that you will be considering as the ANC? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I'll keep going. I still have a number of hands. I want to come this side. We're doing a zebra. No, not SABC, because they've already just engaged.
Thank you, Howard Magoleo from UFM. Regarding the misinformation campaign that has resulted in this fallout with the USA, we know MKP has lodged criminal charges against AfriForum. Does the ANC believe it has done enough in terms of rebutting these lies? And if yes, what is it that you have done? And then still on international relations, the right-wingers in this country believe that the ANC has brought this unto itself through years of fraternizing with the likes of China, Russia, Iran, and antagonizing the USA in the process. Obviously, you do not share that sentiment, but now that we have this issue of tariffs. Is there a plan to approach those countries for markets, those that you regard as friendly nations? You are Russia, you are China. Is South Africa able to now start sending products there? Can they be an alternative to the USA? And lastly, there's been a consistent allegations by anti-war groupings that a German company, Rheinmetall, based in South Africa, which has a partnership, I think, with the NEC, that it is supplying weapons to Ukraine in violation of South African law. Is it something that the ANC has been aware of, and what could be the implications if found to be true? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. News 24. I thought you were going to ask about the venue. Because of the NEC, it seemed to be a point of interest to News 24. So you must pay attention that the ANC and its structures throughout the country, we hold meetings most of the time in council offices. So the fact that we changed the venue from this direction to that direction had nothing to do with money. It was security considerations on our part. So, and the security considerations are not communicated to the public. But we realize that this venue matter has been blown out of proportion and distorted. There in Alberton, I'm sure more than once you have been invited there, where the ANC, among others, its president, addressed what is called a barometer launch of the councillors. Caucus meetings by parliamentarians have been held in that council. So it's not for the first time that we utilize council office. Here in Johannesburg, we have met in the council chambers many times as the NEC. So I just want to bring that to your attention so that you are aware that we do hold meetings in council chambers, in different provinces, and all of that, because those are facilities for holding meetings. And if you are required to pay, we pay, and which is what has happened even now with regard to Aguruleni. On the early conference, we did not consider early conference for the province of the Eastern Cape. In our meeting, we agreed that all conferences must be concluded, regional conferences, by December this year. SACP members in the ANC Power FM, in our view, the resolution of the SACP is forcing members of the ANC who are members of the SACP to choose between the ANC and the SACP. So the notion of dual membership doesn't fall away, but the implication of that decision essentially says choose between the ANC and the SACP. We discussed the perspective, the correctness of the alliance with the Communist Party, and that the ANC is a party that leads the National Democratic Revolution. So the Communist Party is not saying that it wants to lead because they want to be at the helm of leading the National Democratic Revolution. So in this particular instance, they don't say they want to contest elections because they want to entrench socialism, which we believe that it's a decision that we cannot persuade them away from if they arrive at that particular conclusion. But our discussions at the level of the National Executive Committee is that we must continue to engage with them, and if we fail, we fail, and it means we must now embark on the new discussion, which is going to be a discussion of how do we deal with a Communist Party that is contesting elections for whatever reasons they will advance as the African National Congress. So, and we can't waste time on that particular matter. Because if they contest elections, and it will have an implications for the alliance, in our view. So, in this particular instance, it's a matter that we need to grapple with, and also guide our structures throughout the country on the SACP. For instance, there's a lot of things we share with the Communist Party. We share our strategy in terms of contesting elections. They attend our strategy workshops, but they participate in all the processes led by the ANC in relation to the appointment of public representatives and so on. So this decision will mean that all of those things, for instance, will be reviewed in terms of how we work with them. Zoleka, GNU engaging other parties. We have been mandated, in terms of the statement of intent, we have to talk to the partners in the GNU, which is what we are going to do. And the officials have been mandated to process that decision in terms of the government of national unity. We did get the report of the Deputy President and Comrade Tembis Melani, and matters relating to those reports were referred to the national officials to process. So once that is done, we will be able to communicate more on those reports. We didn't discuss Ezuluini. The question you asked about Ezuluini, we didn't discuss that. Expansion of the GNU, Ms. Tele, expansion of the GNU to other political parties, I think it is covered by the answer that we are going to process that discussion with others in terms of this GNU invitation of others to participate. How is that going to happen? But the ANC affirms that the GNU is a correct tactical intervention for the country for reasons of stabilizing politically and economically this country. The DA political mischief we see from time to time in the GNU, it's a matter that we need to address. And we have made an example here about the issue of the tariffs. You must understand that the tariffs imposed by the United States of America are negatively going to affect our economy. And you can't, for national interest, say no and do BE and all of that in order to appease the United States of America, because among others, this is what the US want from us, that we must do away with certain policies, which for us, in terms of transformation, is not going to be possible. You know, during the period of struggle, the United States of America, even under Reagan, characterized the ANC as a terrorist organization. Oliver Tambo went to meet the President of the United States schools, and this ambassador of the United States, who's been sent to our country now, was one of the right-wing proponents of that resolution, of banning the ANC and that we should be regarded as a terrorist organization. And our president then, Oliver Tambo, went in the United States of America to clarify that we are not a terrorist organization. Now we are in the democratic dispensation. The President of the United States of America, we go to see him through the President of a democratically elected South Africa. We sit with him, he plays videos for us there. And then videos, and then says on the basis of those videos, the whole of our nation must be punished. He's not coming to the G20, and then that is it. Despite the fact that facts say something different. In the delegation, you've got prominent business people from South Africa who say that this thing you are talking about is not the way it's unfolding in the country, and all of that. But they are not retreating. They are intensifying. So it's to basically coerce us to do things that are anti-transformation. It's not possible. If it means we're going to suffer through sanctions as leaders of the ANC, let it be. We'll never beg imperialists to subvert our democracy, to subvert our sovereignty. It happened during the period of struggle. It will happen even now. We will never forsake our country, which we fought for its liberation. And we're still marching on even now. Not this ANC, not this leadership. If they want to bring sanctions on us, let them bring them. But this country, South Africa, all its citizens know that it is a democratic country, it's a liberated country, and we are still transforming this country in order to achieve equity. And we will still pursue redress because we are not equal in this economy. This economy is still male, white dominated. And you want to tell us to abandon policies that seek to advance transformation. We're told by somebody who's more wealthy than all of countries combined in the world that I'll give you Starlink, but you must not do black economic empowerment. In our country, we must agree to that. It's not possible to agree to that. You are asking us to abandon what we stand for. You are asking the ANC, this African National Congress, to stop struggling and then close shop and become something. We are not DA. DA has to agree with that because they don't want affirmative action. Leave black economic empowerment. They don't want affirmative action. They don't want redress. They don't believe in transformation. Now they are talking about black economic empowerment, which we reviewed and said that is triple BEE. And then we broadened it to be broad-based and all of that. And then their anti-transformation is a party of anti-transformation. So if you ask us all of these things that the Trump administration is asking us to do, they are asking us to abandon the very essence of who we are, which is not going to be possible. If we are punished for advancing and defending South Africa, that should be the case. We have gone to them. We have asked them. This fringe, right-wing fringe in our country, that goes to America and lie about our country. We have said to them that go and settle there if you want to. Just like in Cuba, Fidel Castro opened Cuba, and then Cubans who want to leave must go. They went and settled in Miami. And then thereafter, they punished Cuba with sanctions. Here in South Africa, Donald Trump called for whites here, gave them special status in America. 49 car guards arrived in America. Car guards arrived in America. He is saying that we are a racist country, we are everything else. He gave them special status to leave. They didn't leave. And then when they arrived there, it's chaps who are looking after cars here. Because this country, they are the most well looked after people by this economy. They are okay. KTK, they are fine in this economy. And then they did not go to the United States of America. In less than a week being there, they started killing each other there. A man killing his girlfriend there. This is what they do here. Killing each other over something. They are in the courts. Killing our people, saying they look like monkeys. Killing blacks here in our country. And then they went to badmouth us in the United States of America. But Donald Trump invited them to come. They didn't go. They didn't leave this country, South Africa. They are still here. Samked, are we throwing the towel? We are not throwing the towel with regard to the SACP. We point to ideological challenges about the party position. We also point to contradictions this is bringing. But as you would have heard, the General Secretary of the Communist Party is very clear. There's no retreat. They are going for the elections. Even when we met with them, we reported to the NEC that we said we must not go through this path. Let's consider reconfiguration and work out things between the two organizations. They insist on that particular path. But our mandate is that one. All I'm saying is that we may as well fail at some point to persuade them out of this thing of contesting for elections. And when that happens, we are now going to have to look into, in the next 2 weeks, the implications of this decision and how we are going to operate as the two parties going forward. Because there's a lot of implications in relation to this decision. IDT CEO, anyone who's corrupt or implicated in corruption, the rule of law must prevail. So the rule of law must prevail. So that goes even for the IDT CEO. If he's implicated in bribing people, all those implicated in corruption, the law and the law must deal with them. It doesn't matter who they are. That's what is important. We must not philosophize about this. Lizeka, I've addressed the issue of coercion and the United States of America. We do consider research. Research, Afrobarometer, SRF, Ipsos, our own research, we consider them in our meeting, what they say about us, what they say about GNU. Most South Africans are very positive about the GNU. All right? That's what the polls are saying. They are not saying anything different from each other. And then they look at the ANC support and it has stabilized. It is now above 40% in the GNU. So the research from our part looks good in terms of the GNU. And we do consider that. This national dialogue is not ours, okay? The national dialogue is a national dialogue for all South Africans. So we look at the national dialogue in terms of the ANC's relationship with that national dialogue. We see it as an important platform, which we ourselves, we will participate with the rest of South Africans who will be taking part in that national dialogue. It's not an ANC thing. Should the national dialogue look at the implementation of the NDP, that is what it will do. And then if it says that the NDP is not fully realizable within the remaining time frame towards 2030, the national dialogue will give direction, because national dialogue, in our understanding, it is going to be at the end of the day about social compact and giving direction in terms of what needs to be done. UFM, has the ANC done enough to rebut the lies? We have done enough. We went even to the White House through the president. Not even the ANC. The president of the country went to the White House, and then you watched it live on television. And then he was hit by a movie there about Malema and Kill the Boer. As the ANC, we sang that song, but no member of the ANC today will be allowed to sing Kill the Boer. Simple as that. Even if the Constitutional Court said you can say, why should we sing Kill the Boer in a democratic dispensation? We sang the song because we're fighting the commandos when we infiltrate the country from Limpopo. They deployed the Boers, commandos, to kill the guerrillas as we infiltrate the country. From Angola and in the frontline states, we sang Kill the Boer, kill the farmer, in order to infiltrate the country and come inside and fight. Now you listen to clowns that says, no, in the camps we're selling drugs. I mean, we're not fighting. Clowns openly in this podcast insult our struggle and the memory of brave men and women of our struggle, and insult them that, no, we were in exile selling drugs. How can you sell drugs in Angola, in the bush, where we were training alongside FAPLA and the Cubans to defeat the Boers in the Battle of Cuito-Carnival? We've got graves and soldiers who never came back home and died. We rebury them every day. A clown says people went into exile, they were selling drugs. You know? But for that clown, we're going to take it to task. And then the other clown says we got money from Iran. We didn't get money from Iran. Another clown again says, no, ANC got money from Iran, and he keep repeating this lie. We didn't get any money from Iran. The United States imposed sanctions on Iran. We are not trading with Iran, even if they've got oil. But a clown says, no, we got money. Even the CIA, I'm sure they can tell you, they regard themselves as the best intelligence outfit, can tell you that it's not true that the ANC got money from Iran. We didn't get any money from Iran. And then they say to us that we're selling weapons to Ukraine, not to Ukraine, to Russia. Russia has got the best weaponry in their fight there in Ukraine. We fight and advance a non-partisan approach in terms of Ukraine and Russia. Our president traveled 10 hours on a train to meet the president of Ukraine and advance to Moscow to meet President Vladimir Putin. And then somebody then from the United States, with a bow tie, made a statement, bravely so, that no, we supply arms. And then we establish a commission of inquiry. A commission of inquiry comes out. The DA says, no, that commission is questionable because it was checked in secret by the judge and all of that. The DA, these people, where do they draw the line in terms of partisan interest and national interest? They hate this country. They go to America, go and tell Donald Trump what he wants to hear, and all of that, and come back to this country again. Hurt our economy. When our people are unemployed, we no longer trade with the biggest market like the United States and all of that. They will be coming back and blaming us. They said to the United States, we must be hit with sanctions as politicians of the ANC, like Zimbabwe. What did we do? We are not a dictatorship. We have just formed a government of national unity. We underperformed in an election. In less than 14 days, we formed a government of national unity, not persuaded by anyone in the world, independently. Yeah, in this country. They now want to accuse us of dictatorship, that the ANC this, ANC that, and all of that. They advocate for sanctions against our country, disguised as tariffs to hit us. And then these people, they agree with them. Where is national interest, and where do we draw? And where do we draw the line? So we have worked very hard to rebut the lies of the United States of America. South Africa as a country must continue to pursue trade relations even into new markets. It's very important to do that as a country, as a sovereign state. We are not a branch of the United States. We are a country, full country, state, president, and everything else. So we have to be dealing with these matters with that clear understanding. Now, there are people in our country that go to the U.S., badmouth the country, and all of that, and then they come back to our country and settle with us here. So when all these things are coming our way, in the manner in which they are, they want to shift the blame and blame it on the government of the ANC. We have not gone to the United States or undermined democratic processes in this country. We govern with the full respect of understanding that our governing is dependent on the vote of the people. Like the Freedom Charter says, no government shall claim authority unless it is based on the will of the people. That is the preamble of the Freedom Charter. And even ourselves here, we govern at the behest of the people of this country. Those are our bosses, and we respect their will. And that is it. We have never held this country at ransom and all of that. We govern even now for national interest, for stability of our country, for ensuring that this country flourishes in terms of the economy and all of that. And then we brought everybody, we said, come, let's govern together in the GNU. The DA wanted a marriage between us and them. We said, no, bring everybody. Even now, we are ready to bring more into this government. Those who want to leave can leave. But this country must not collapse, and it's not going to collapse at the hands of the ANC. It's going to succeed going forward. Thank you very much. What is it?
It was a follow-up. Please, Aga.
I just wanted to clarify on the Rule 25 of your Constitution.
Okay. No, it's fine, Ministry. We can take that as part of the second round. This is the second and final round, colleagues. I won't go back to those that have had a chance. Eyewitness News, Kasi, Sunday World.
SABC.
SABC has had a chance.
But I mean, some
and we did respond to Samkel's questions, although he was outside of the media center. And then I'll take my brother there at the back, and then I'll take you, my brother. Let's go in that particular order. Eyewitness News.
Good afternoon, Taliso Bobo from Eyewitness News. Mr. Mbalula, I understand that maybe this might be new, but obviously there is a group of people in the Guru Lady that are taking the RCT to court in a bid to interdict the upcoming regional conference. Just maybe your reaction to that. I understand these are the same people that also wrote you a letter saying that the RCT is not is an illegal structure. So just your reaction to that. And my second question is around on the national dialogue. The president, during the closing address, he emphasized that the national dialogue is not going to change the constitution, and there won't be any sort of parallel governments. Just maybe if you can just maybe take us into confidence, why was that emphasis important around what the national dialogue is not going to do in terms of changing the constitution or creating a parallel government? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Over to you, my brother.
Shannon Marys, Kelsey Broadcasting Africa. Mr. Fixit, you were struggling with the numbers. Does this mean Zuma failed to bring the ANC numbers down? You were sitting at 1.5. Two, the Gauteng Premier has fired HODs in Gauteng for corruption or allegedly corruption and so on. How do you respond to that? Three, your what committees for your what?
The second one is about
HODs.
Okay, the firing of HODs.
Yes.
Okay, and the reallocation.
Yes.
Yeah, let's complete the thread.
Yes.
All right.
And the last one is on your ward councillors. Some of your ward councillors have been arrested for selling RDP houses, being involved with guns and all funny business. How are you going to deal with that image of the ANC going to the 2026 elections? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I then proceed to the next colleague. Yeah, Sunday World.
Good afternoon, SG and Mr. Spokesperson. My name is Mawanda. I work for the Sunday World. Mr. Mbalula, what is the financial state of the ANC at the current moment? Suffices to say, I hear what you said, Sujan. I'm asking a direct question, knowing that the ANC has been struggling to pay my colleagues here at the House. So, what is the financial state of the ANC? Is it going concern? Is it broke? Is it bankrupt? What is the situation? And what are the causes for that, by the way? And then also, Mr. Mbalula, what is your comment on the ultimatum by Mr. Zuma again for your president to step down as the head of state and threatening court action once again? And what do you say to those that say that there seems to be now a coordination between Mr. Zuma's strategy and some elements within the ANC itself, if you look at the persistence on that particular subject matter of wanting the head of the president on the chopping block? On the membership numbers, 1.5 million, you say, are you at liberty to give us the breakdown by province? I mean, it would be interesting, given what MK has done to ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, to hear how provinces are looking like. And also, Mr. Mbalula, finally, on the SACP, I don't want to leave here having misunderstood you. You seem to sound, what is exactly the decision, by the way? And you seem to say they don't want state power, so what exactly is it that they want? And also, you sound like someone who says their decision to contest is coming. It's done. It was taken at a special congress. And if you say 2 weeks, do you mean to say that the SACP must organize a congress? Because only a full congress can reverse that decision. Mr. Mapaila and them, the Central Committee, cannot do that. What is the ANC exactly hoping for, knowing that in the next 3 months, the SACP can't reverse that decision? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, right at the back, and then going down. Yes, no, yourself. Yes, yourself, my brother.
Please allow me
to say happy Women's Day in advance to you.
Thank you. Please introduce yourself.
Truth is my name. I was going to. Truth is my name. And the women in the country at large. SG, MMC of Road and Transport in COJ resigned based on the allegations that are known before us. So what's the take of the ANC by the decision that it was taken by the MMC Road and Transport? Or the second one I'm covered. One of my colleagues.
All right, thank you very much, and thank you for wishing the women of South Africa a happy Women's Month. My brother over there.
Turkmen Terzi representing Turkey. See what Turkmen Terzi.
Please just say it again.
My name is Turkmen Terzi. Representing Turkey.
Dutch media.
It's from Turkey, guys.
Okay, thank you for those who could hear. Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, you know, the right-wing nationalism and right-wing populism rising in many countries, Europe especially, many parts of the world. And you define yourself in the years back in ANC conference, policy conference, that ANC is a leftist party. So now you're expanding the GNU, your coalition, you are in a coalition. So do you see that trend, right-wing populism, nationalism in this country? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I am. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Jonathan Tizi from Water.
Please just repeat your media house.
Alex Reporter. I'm Jonathan Tizi from Alex Reporter.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I can see that the conflicts within the ANC, both on the GNU as well as maybe with the alliances such as the SACP as well as the COSATU. So ANC, does it not say that maybe also the COSATU will go the same way to represent itself? As we can see that some of the countries, they have been governed by the rest of the Labour Party, especially international. See? So, and then again, there were rumors saying that the top dogs, especially economically, the likes of your politicians, they are campaigning to actually take over the presidency of the ANC. So that is ANC aware of those things? Thank you.
Right. I am going to just exercise some leniency to SABC.
Hey.
Otherwise, otherwise the national dialogue may not continue.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Ndebu Mkoba. I'm with the SABC. I have a couple of questions, but I will just ask one for the sake of time. As Secretary General on the SACP, who to blame? And I'm saying this against the backdrop of the historical context, SG. If you look at what brought us to where we are in terms of the SACP deciding to contest elections independently, it started around 2000, 2002. They've been calling for the reconfiguration of the alliance. They were called names at some point. They were referred as ultra-leftist. Their general secretary then, someone who was extraordinary, arrogant at some point. They were reminded of the ANC, not a nationalist, a socialist organization, and that it will neither be a socialist organization. For almost 25 years, they've been calling for the reconfiguration of the alliance. That didn't happen. But a few months after elections, the ANC at some point said and come up with a statement of intent. And that statement of intent ultimately gave the DA, a political party that called the ANC a corrupt organization, that wanted its leader not to, its president not to lead this country. You gave them 6 ministerial positions out of that. So the SACP is a bit worried that if you can engage these people, why can't you engage us? And we spend 25 years without
the country. If that matter arises as being pursued in the dialogue, we'll deal with it. I think all of those will be there at that particular moment. I'm not struggling with numbers like Zuma. Our membership, when we released the annual report, you would have seen the breakdown was standing at 600,000. Now, our membership is standing at 1.5 million. Unfortunately, I can't give you the breakdown per province now, but we can avail those details to you. And somebody was saying that we have dropped membership to 600,000 when we released the annual report, and that signifies numbers dwindling for the African National Congress. So that was totally incorrect. Reallocation of HODs, I think that is the prerogative of the Premier. We don't macromanage governance. If the Premier decides that there are HODs in need to change, it's in his purview. And that is his right as the Premier to do that. And if he wants to brief the ANC in Gauteng, which I assume he would have done that, but the ANC, we don't macromanage how government operates and is run. Our deployees there are supposed to do what is right to ensure good governance, accountability, and effective running of government. So if the Premier Panyaza is doing that, we think he's doing it for the good of governance in the province. What councillors who are arrested, they must face the consequences. Those who are arrested doing wrong things. Wrongdoing is not condoned here in the African National Congress. So if you do wrong, you must face the music. Sunday World, you ask about the financial state of the ANC. We are a party that is not rich, but we are not broke. We run a huge machinery. If you look at other political parties here and look at their offices, it's like a constituency office. And we are here at Luthuli House. How many floors here? It's huge machinery and staff, which we maintain. So we are not rich, and we rely on goodwill, people who support our party, supporting our ideas to remain in power. If you support the ANC financially, it means you believe in the ANC. So we fundraise from time to time, and we thank everybody who believe in the ANC and support our organization financially to meet its obligations. Jacob Zuma gives us ultimatums every day. He's a man of ultimatums. It's clear that he formed that party to fight Cyril Ramaphosa. So that's what it does. So they failed the other day dismally at the Constitutional Court. And they were left there crying there. Because they are delinquents even when it comes to the law. They don't look at things properly. They went there to the Constitutional Court to moan, and I think that is a platform for political theatrics. Those judges dismissed them, sent them packing, same day. It was not postponed, nix. It was dealt with same day. Dabona udala exubile kunzima. Iloya yami madoda nalityhini. Kumnyama ebusweni benkawu kuyakubi. Baqoqotiswa pha zijaji. Sibabuza imibuzo bengakwazi uphendula. Nizothina. Busy kule country siyalungisa. We're busy here. We established judicial commission. We're intervening in situations. They are just intercepting. You know, and they tried their revolution here. And then they tried some shutdown. Those things people did not... Nobody in South Africa is entertaining anarchy. People want to see action. Mkwanazi made allegations, judicial commission established, dealing with the matters in order to give capacity to our police force to do the work that it's supposed to do as prescribed in the constitution of the country. So there's no time to waste time here. People going to courts, wasting time of judges and all of them decisively. I've answered the question of membership. The SACP decision, we are clear that the SACP wants to contest elections, as the ANC were opposed to that. All I'm saying is that we may not succeed to persuade them to get out of that resolution. And therefore, what we have decided is that if all it fails, we must now, as the ANC, sit down and decide what are we going to do, of which that's what we're going to do. But we have agreed with the SACP to meet. Now, you can see from the General Secretary that is determined to implement that resolution that they have taken. That resolution have got far-reaching implications for the Alliance and the Communist Party in itself. Because that resolution seeks to say, if you look at it, the Communist Party, except for saying to its members, choose between us and the ANC, but it equally says that resolution, we are now going to contest elections with the ANC. And when you contest elections, it means you contest the ANC. We contest each other on the ground, and so on. So it has got far-reaching implications. And you will see, even in practice, it's a big challenge. So we will talk to the Communist Party as per mandate, but should we fail, the NEC is clear that we must then design intervention. We're going to convene an NEC meeting special to look at local government. That will include the discussion on the SACP decision. And that meeting we are supposed to convene in a fortnight. So, which means we must work flat out with the SACP, and then when we go to the NEC, akuzube kuteketwa. Sabe sithetha into ecacileyo with no ambiguity ukuthi how do we move forward and the implications of that decision. Mthunzi, andizukomenta man kwinto zikaKhenny ne-resignation yakhe ibuze ku-gate 10 lona. U-gate 10 uyiphendula every day la question. It was a very difficult decision. U-gate uyiphendulile la question. Umbekele bucala uKhenny ziyaqhubeka ezajab uyabona. So ibuze pha kubo lo mbuzo lo. Ukuthi ubefuna ntoni endlini yalamfo andimazi uzaziphendulela uthi ebebiziwe pha. Ndimva nami njengani ukuthi uthe beyothini pha. Amapolisa afika kuhlelwe pha. ukuthi bebesenzani bebesela or besenza ntoni lo mfo kuthiwa uyingozi emphakathini la chap ibanjiweyo pha kuthiwa akamoshi wenze enye into uyabona ukuthi abadubula abantu so amapolisa afika pha so bafumana ukheni pha zwapha not estrateni endlini yalamfo uyayiqona so umnikazi wendaba uzaziphendulela ukuthi befuna ntoni pha ukuthi behamba ne-journalist ukuthi belandela i-journalist beyo-interviewa la chap ibanjiweyo ityholwa ngokuthi idubula abantu apha eJoburg amapolisa afika pha afumana ukheni pha so ndizayiphendula ndithini mhlekazi umicimbi kakheni no uzaziphendulela uGaten uyayiphendula laa nto and all of that and then yes, of course, there is right-wing nationalism even here in South Africa by certain political parties and all of that, who some of them are in government, but they are opponents and we are opposed to each other. We deal with each other in that context. Buthelezi, lento yo top dogs uthetha ngazo andizazo Mtsiphe ukuthi zi top dog. Umtsiphe akakayiphenduli lento yakhe kuthethwa ngegama lakhe akakayiphenduli lona but here is the position into the succession kwa ANC we have taken a decision they must stop if you want to stand it's fine but stop this thing of abbreviations BM 2027 those things must stop we must focus on the work of building the ANC and fighting to come back in power. 2027 will have plenty of time. People for them to canvass what they want to be. It doesn't matter now. Even if you can say you are standing or you don't stand, it doesn't matter. We are not there yet. And we have said that if you want to disorganize the ANC, start the succession discussion. It's not only Mtsiphe. I see videos flying around with nice songs. So and so must lead and all of that. We are clear, those things must stop. As is a top dog, so is it top dog when we get into that terrain. And maybe it's equally unfair to ask Mtsiphe whether these things are true or false. If there are ANC people who promote, we are saying to them, stop that. Even myself, people say no, FM 2027, Mbalula for president. So I ask them a question. I have not convened a caucus to ask for leadership to be elected. I've never gone to the provinces. I'm focused on this job. So when I call them to order, they say, no, I'm slowing them down because I've got a bigger agenda. I'm entrenching myself. I'm saying to them, you elected me to be your Secretary General. I've not even finished halfway mark. You are already talking about me becoming a president. Hey man, I've not been evaluated by any structure. NGC, we have not even reached NGC, we have not presented the report, we have lost elections. Yeah, 40%. And then you say, no, now, when I communicate decisions, they say I'm slowing them down. And we say to our structures, appreciate the moment we are in. The ANC is a party we can say lost elections. And then we are busy about each other and our egos, polishing them, that we must stand. Stand where? When we have to win the trust of the people to support us. So, we're very clear, Buthelezi, everybody must stop about 2027 succession debate we will discuss that at the right time. At the present moment, everyone must focus on the task of building organization and stop suspecting people that they work hard and then convince yourself that they are not working hard, they are doing it for themselves in order to become presidents. You know, Sputla is doing a great job as our minister. And I was saying to him, you are doing a great job, but don't stand, you know. And I was joking with him. Because he's doing a great job, people will be saying, hey, Sputla wants himself. Other people, when they sit in those WhatsApp groups, they see leaders in their sleep. Have you ever seen that thing? When people then start to say to you, you are my leader, leadership. I want you as my president. Now, if you've got small brains, you will think that, hey, abantu bayandifuna. People want me. It doesn't work like that. There are people, when you say to them, hey, you are a presidential material, they honestly even change the movement of walking. Because somebody in some branch said that you can be a presidential material. It doesn't work like that. Even the way of talking, they change. So I'm just giving an example about Sputla, our minister, who's hardworking, a member of the National Executive Committee. Because he's working hard, people will be saying you can be this, you can be that. It's normal when you work in the face of people that people can think of you to become something. It's normal. It doesn't get into my head when structures say, but our SG is doing well, is all of that. Hey, we think of you to become something. I don't stop becoming SG here and change the works. My work is still the same, as you would have left me at Nazareth when I was elected. My work is still the same. It doesn't get to my head that I must leave this job now and start to think of myself as something else. Because some people think of you in this way. You know, you've got to wait. Mandela says to us, stop suffering from uncontrollable desire for power. Because that thing is going to kill you faster. Uncontrollable desire. You want to contest everything, and you never win anything. So if people at some point come to you, persuade you, whatever, that time and moment will come at the right time. SABC, a very long philosophical question by Ntebu, about 25 years. The Communist Party is not saying to us, Ntebu, that we are contesting because you are failing to reconfigure. Even that reconfiguration, which we agreed we must discuss, and so on, is not clearly defined. That if reconfiguration is about co-governing, and because of that we disagree over that, because we have understood from the onset that there is no issue with regard to who leads the NDR. It's the ANC, the National Democratic Revolution. We are not fighting over that. There's no issue about who leads the struggle for socialism. It's the Communist Party. If the Communist Party says we are contesting elections because we're contesting for socialism, there's nothing the ANC can do about that because it's who they are. But they have not said that. They say they are contesting for state power. That's what I've heard. State power means now something different altogether. It means something different altogether. So that's the clarity that we seek in this particular instance. So they have not said, the SACP, we are contesting elections because we want contest for socialism, which is within their right. And we think that this socialism we want, we're not going to realize it if we are in alliance with the ANC as a liberation movement. And that this thing of the NDR, let them go on their own. Because what they are doing, they are then creating a vacuum of left communists in the African National Congress, as it is. So they are creating that vacuum, they leave it to who? Because they are now creating a crisis for the left inside the African National Congress. And then they are then saying, communists in the ANC choose between the ANC and the Communist Party. And then they leave. So then who's going to occupy that space? And if they believe that the ANC is so weak today, such that they must then ascend to a pedestal of contesting for power, working with others, I don't know with who, not the ANC. Because there's no left here in this country. It's in paper. People call themselves left. They are not left, these people. Do you call Zuma left? Zuma is not left. A man who leaves the country and go and endorse a right-wing government that oppresses people. Morocco, you call that left? That's not left. For the rest of our lives, when we joined this thing, we joined it because we were fighting, among others, colonialism. There are people of Western Sahara colonized by Morocco and oppressed. Zuma, coming from the liberation movement, Zuma, goes there and say, no, everything is fine. What happened to this man was a president, deputy president, deputy secretary general of the ANC that says we are anti this. He goes, form a Nomgogwana there in a corner, disorganize this ANC, take some numbers, fight for it to be out of power. In no time, he's knocking in Morocco, endorsing them in a press conference. He doesn't even read a statement. He's got a special advisor who reads on his behalf. But Kuba, bati bayazabalaza. Uban Lamfo, ebefundela uZuma pa. Makasela, he's also from here. The ANC, he reads there and even defend that thing on Twitter. Dabona kuti ababantu bathengisa kudala. These people have been selling out while sitting here in the ANC. How can you suffer from such damaged consciousness in a short space of time? What is it that Morocco is giving these people? Izawuvela ngenye imini what they got there. And then you come and say that is left. There's no left there. The real left here is the ANC. And then the Communist Party, through its decision, says, no, we are leaving, and then we are going, and all of that, and then we are going to contest state power. There's no state power. Look at the elections in Seshego. Communist Party contested there. Leave the numbers they got. Why will communists isolate themselves and then from the liberation movement abandon the ship, leave the ANC and go and contest? You should be contesting here, inside, and fight to win your ideas here in the ANC and maintain it. The party has never been chasing numbers. And it might as well not get the numbers they want. When they come back on the other side, they look at this ANC, and then we have left this ANC with whoever that we have left it with. When you come from the other side, Communist Party has never chased numbers, and that is why we are not shocked when they get 70 in a ward. Because these are the people who have always been here teaching us the most advanced layer of leadership in the ANC is communists. That is why at some point it was not pronounced. In the 40s, the Youth League, Bomandela, were chasing communists up until Kotani brought sense into his head. Wamkhabulis. Uguti, hey, this thing you are doing is wrong. And then he only then learned that Ntate Kotani is a communist. He was in the ANC, General Secretary of the African National Congress, advanced. They were not pronounced. To join the Communist Party was in secrecy. You will only learn later that this man is a communist. But Thabo Mbeki, they were communists. The last conference of the Communist Party in Cuba was chaired by Thabo Mbeki. So when the communists decide to leave the ANC, it's a sad moment for our revolution, the African National Congress, and our revolution here in South Africa. It's sad that such a thing can happen. Lastly, UFM. I don't know what you want about these weapons of Ukraine. We don't know what you are saying. If it is there, it's the state that must deal with that matter, meaning our state. That Dinel is working with some Germans and then they are supplying arms to Ukraine. We don't know that. But like you have exposed it, you media people have got information that we don't have. But like you are raising it now, yeah, as the ANC, will condemn that if there is such. But from where I'm seated at Luthuli House, I don't have that information. We don't have that information. That information, if it is there, it will be with the state president and all his intelligence people and state security. From our side, we don't have it. As the ANC, if there's anything of that sort, we are very clear. We'll condemn it, and it will be a big blunder in terms of our international role to do such things in our country. It will be a big blunder. Thank you very much.
I don't know what is this happiness all about at this briefing. May I call you to attention? We are still at a briefing. I see my media colleagues are quite enthused today. Just before we adjourn, SG, may I request you to send a warm wishes to the women of South Africa during this August month, after which we are going to adjourn.
First, let me start with women in this room who are in the media. Liza Garcia and others, because this month is very important for women, because it reminds us about emancipation. And that struggle is not over. Even if in the ANC and in our government, we've got 50-50. But the real struggle in the corporate and everywhere else, where women are reduced into tokens, it's not over. It must be a struggle that must be fought during this August month to remind ourselves, all of us, that gender oppression is real. Women are being murdered because they are defined as sex objects. They are being killed every day in what we call in our country the scourge of GBV. They are oppressed in our homes by men who are respectable. They are not allowed to emerge on their own and become stronger. Even in politics, women still are yet to rise. Even at the highest echelons. In the ANC, we have had women contesting for presidency, and they did not make it. And we have seen women emerging in our region, in Tanzania, right next door in Namibia, becoming presidents. And I think for us to get to that point, it's not going to be a struggle that is going to happen for free. Women must be united. So, and fight their struggles, and they will meet men like ourselves who are progressive and to enhance women emancipation in our organizations, in the industries where we operate. For women to emerge, men think they make them a favor in the different industries. And then I'm saying women are dealt with in other industries as sexual objects. They must give up something for them to emerge and become something. We must fight such shenanigans wherever they express themselves. A woman must be a woman and emerge because they've got capabilities. And they must not be suppressed. So, happy Women's Month, but it's a Women's Month of brave women on the 9th of August who marched to the union buildings. And that changed the page in the history of our struggle, where a president, sitting president of apartheid, went through the window and ran away from Abafas in this August month. So it's a month of struggle in our country. It's not just a celebration. It's a month of struggle to remind ourselves of women emancipation in our country. So Malibongo igama lamakhosikazi. You strike a woman, you strike a rock. Wathinta abafazi, wathinta imbongolo.
Thank you very much. Can I have order there? We have a number of questions, including from Financial Mail, Business Day. May I just indicate to those colleagues who are not here, but have sent a number of questions on WhatsApp, that we will respond to them individually. Time does not allow us to take a third round of questions. We thank members of the media for your continued interest in the work of the African National Congress, and we also urge for contextual and accurate reportage. Thank you very much. We are adjourned.
Thank you. So they need to be stopped. Come on, it is okay. Like every joke. Yeah, every joke is now.